So have any of you noticed how in most of my reviews for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I've always started it out with alright? Alright, 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 alright. Alright guys, so we are up to Thor Ragnarok. And I pretty much hate this movie. I don't like this movie for so many reasons, but the biggest reason is that this movie does not take itself seriously at all. I mean, there are moments in the movie where it does try to be serious, but those serious moments, as few as they are, always end up being the butt of a joke. Right? For example, there is always this one scene that I think of when I think of how this movie doesn't take itself seriously at all. And it's the scene where all of Asgard's people are watching Asgard die. They're watching it be destroyed. And while this is happening, fuck's sake, I've mentioned this before, but while this is happening, the comedic character Korg is in the background narrating, saying that the destruction is not too bad, that if there's still a foundation that, you know, they can rebuild and stuff, la-di-da-di-da, and then when Asgard finishes exploding, he just says, the foundations are gone. First of all, that is actually quite a sad scene, so why would you make a joke out of it? And secondly, like, that's kind of disrespectful because it's a sad scene. Like, I don't get it. Like, and this is the video, this is the review that I'm going to finally address. Well, I've addressed it before in other reviews like Age of Ultron and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but I'm going to really focus on it, shine a light on it. And Marvel don't trust their drama anymore. They have no faith in the seriousness and the drama of writing anymore. They just don't. I don't know if it's lazy or whatever. I mean, I get that, you know, when you're writing comedy, it's a little harder to do, but I don't know. I think Marvel or the writers for each movie keep seeming to keep making the same mistake. I don't know whose fault it is, but Marvel this is a problem, and I'm actually getting tired of it. Marvel's problems are its villains, which I will say they have fixed lately, thank God. But now, their biggest problem is comedy. A type of comedy called bathos? Bathos? I think it's called bathos. Don't quote me on that. I mean, I don't know if that's the word. I got that word, this idea of comedy from another YouTuber when I watched their video. Whatever, not important. This type of comedy, basically, what it's meant to do is undercut any sort of drama, tension, or seriousness, or emotion in anything by teasing itself. And Marvel have been doing this for ages. Basically since the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Now, I said this in that review, that ever since that movie, Marvel has just copied the basics of that movie and put it in their other movies. Why? Why can't you, I don't know, do something original? Or maybe do something a little more serious? Or maybe have a balance, I don't know. But, I mean, I don't know, I'm just not a big fan of comedy when it makes fun of itself. And holy shit, I've been going for 4 minutes? This is just the intro. Holy shit! Okay, this might be a long review, but I'm gonna get to the characters now. Characters, Thor. Thor is another problem with this movie. In other movies, in his previous movies, actually, he was serious and he had comedic moments, but he felt like a completely different character in his own previous movies and previous Avengers movies. But in this, his character is completely changed, and there's no explanation for it. He's just all comedic, all like making a joke out of everything. It's like he is the Star-Lord of this movie. But besides Thor, Loki I actually kind of liked, because I actually liked him more than Chris Hemsworth in this movie, and that's because he is one of Marvel's best villains, but also I don't know, he was just more likable this time around. And dare I say that he sort of gets redeemed in this movie? I mean, he still betrays those closest to him, and he's still a treacherous coward and all of that, and la-di-da-di-da. But in the end, he ultimately comes back to save Asgard. I like that. Now, there's another character that I liked, and that was Hulk / Bruce Banner. Hulk was so much better in this movie. Also, with the CGI, much better than Age of Ultron. For some reason, Hulk in Age of Ultron just didn't look as good as the first Avengers. But in this one, he looks better than the first Avengers, and he has more dialogue, he has more character. The Hulk character is just way more better. And he's like a baby, as we figured out in this movie. Really quickly, Jeff Goldblum. I don't like the character. It's just not because, and I don't like the character because it's written bad. The character is actually very well done and well acted, I will say. I don't like the character because that's what they were going for. This character is a dick to everyone, and he doesn't care about anyone but himself, and that's the point. So yeah. Okay, so really quickly, now that I've talked about all my favorite characters in the movie, maybe or maybe not Thor, I'm going to quickly go into the villain played by Cate Blanchett. She was okay. I mean, Marvel's previous villains, in the movies, Marvel's two previous villains, that being Ego and Adrian Toomes from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Spider-Man Homecoming, they were a lot better than her, in my opinion. Cate Blanchett gives a good performance, but the character herself is a little cliche and boring. I don't know. For some reason, any time they put any villain in any one of Thor's movies, just personally for me, just don't work. There's always a problem. Yeah, anyway. So as I said, I didn't like this movie for all the reasons that I mentioned before. But one thing that I noticed after it came out on Blu-ray is this. Its characters are slightly more exaggerated for this, but specific aspects of the character, of each character, those characters being Thor, Loki, Hulk, and Grandmaster, if you want to include him. But with these four characters, what I noticed is that Thor is funny and outgoing. Loki has a very repetitive nature. Hulk is grumpy and petty. Grandmaster is ignorant and self-centered. Can anyone else guess what I'm getting at here? Little guessing game going on. See? How long can you go until you guess? Anyway, what it is that I noticed that the writers, with a couple of their flaws in mind, got this part right. And what it is they exaggerated the childish aspects and personalities of these characters, right? Because we, as human beings, are essentially children. And in our physical lifetime, we were once children. And we all behaved like that. Like these four characters at one point in our lives, maybe more than one point. Right? The fact is, we all behave like this when we were a child at some point. And what they are doing, which is very clever, I have to say, is they are using the childish nature of these characters to relate to us, to connect with us. So when we're watching this movie, we are subconsciously, I say subconsciously because I didn't even realize this until I watched the movie a bunch of times. And yes, I did say a bunch of times, ever since it came out on Blu-ray, this movie, I haven't stopped watching it. So, I have to say, I might love it now. Might. But, what was I going to say? Yeah, anyway, it very cleverly uses... Wait, I already said that. What the hell was I going to say? I don't know. I wish that at the moment I could just rewind the footage while I'm recording so that I could find out what the hell I was talking about. But, yeah, I gotta say, I love this movie because of that. Because I am watching this movie and I'm relating to these characters because of their childishness. And it's so weird. And for me, no other Marvel movie has done that. In this sense, Thor Ragnarok is unique in just that sense. Alright? So I still believe and have those opinions, those negative opinions at the beginning of the review. But at this point in my life right now, in this review, I love this movie. Okay? I went from literally being on the verge of absolutely hating this movie. Now I love this movie. I cannot stop watching it. I'm probably gonna watch it after I record this review. So there you go. That's Thor Ragnarok for you. I love this movie now. It's really weird. But I will see you in my review for Inhumans. Oh my gosh, I hate that show.